Good afternoon, you guys. Welcome to another episode of the Get to Know Her show. I'm so excited you're here. I am so excited to be interviewing my guest today, Lindsay Alexander. You're going to love her. She owns her own boutique in downtown Bracebridge called Little Black Bow, specializing in lingerie and bra fitting. And let me tell you, this girl has worked hard to get to where she is. Not only does she own her own boutique, she's also president of the BIA for Bracebridge. So we're going to get into all kinds of talk with her about fashion, about her family, about her business, about other businesses in the area, challenges perhaps businesses are facing right now. It's going to be a great conversation. But before I bring Lindsay on, I wanted to point out the top I'm wearing today, once again from our friend Brenda Bedome, who is awesome. And look at this top. So I'm wearing this with my jeans. See all the ruching down here? You know why I chose this top today, you guys? Because it hides the indulgences of Thanksgiving weekend. That's why. I love this top. It's a nice slimline one. So go to Brenda's website, brendabedome.com. And it's spelled again, Brenda, and then Bedome, BEDDOME.com. I will leave that information here where you're watching. And use the coupon code Get to Know Her, and you will get 13% off of her beautiful fall collection. And these ruche tops, I believe she's got them in white, navy blue, and then black, like what I'm wearing. So grab yourself one. They're awesome. Lindsay, it's time for our friend Lindsay to come on and join us. Here we go. Here she is. Look at I love your grand entrance.
Oh, how fabulous was that?
That was so fabulous. I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
That was real. That was a delivery. So, just playing it cool.
I love it. And I love that you're in your shop, Lindsay, doing this with us.
Thank you. Well, sometimes that's life. It's, I spend more time here than I do anywhere else. So.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. I don't know if you had a chance to look, but in my Instagram story today, I found a really old picture of you and I from 2013, looking at the jewels together for your boutique.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I'm gonna have to. And you know what? Actually, I remember when that would have been. I remember that, and I think because you spent a day or a weekend here with me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was spring 2013. I know. It's so crazy. So can you what?
It seems like a lifetime ago. I feel like even with the show and everything going on, there's so many moments that I think about, and it feels like yesterday. And then in another sense, it's like I can't even remember a former life.
Yeah. It really feels that way. Yeah. I know. And I was thinking today back to when you and I first met. And so this would have been before you were married, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we met when I worked for Greg and Julia, who own Tiggs, which is another store downtown. I think that's when we met.
I think too. Yeah, but you know what else? We may have even met before that, because I was mentioning to Lindsay off camera here that I ran into a mutual friend of ours this weekend, and you worked for her across the street. What was that store called?
That was Big Sky. It used to be a Sky store. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I bet you I met you then, because I would have been selling jewelry to her, and you would have probably been working there without even realizing. We were meant. Our worlds collided. I know, it's so cool. So we're gonna get into all that stuff. But Lindsay, I always open up the interview with the same question for all my guests, because I find it to be one of the most fascinating. Is we want to know what little Lindsay wanted to be when she grew up.
Oh my gosh. It sounds really funny because this is what I'm doing, but I remember wanting to own my own store. I really did. I didn't know what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say in high school, and maybe it was, I had some co-op opportunities with a few businesses on the street, and I really wanted to own my own shop. And so it's really interesting now, you feel like you're full circle, and
Yeah.
where I am. But yeah, I always loved the idea. I love my hometown. So I'd gone away to college at Fanshawe in London, and Kevin and I had my husband, Kevin. We had moved out west and lived in Alberta for a little while. And when we came back, there was just the opportunity was here. So, but that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to play sport.
Yeah, that's great. And it's so great that you and Kevin explored those other, options, like that you lived in Toronto for a little while, you went out west. When you came back to Bracebridge, did you really feel this like new love for where you came from? And
yeah, it really, and I think anybody who has, and it doesn't even have to be your hometown, but that feeling of I'm home. And that's what it felt like. It just felt like this is where we were supposed to be. I was fortunate enough to have an incredible childhood here. So I love the area. And so coming back home just felt good. It felt like what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. And one of the things I've always loved about you, Lindsay, is anytime you go into the store, you look fabulous. Like you take such good care of yourself. You got the pretty makeup, the jewels, you're always so well put together. And then there's this other side of you that is a real like northern, I'm not afraid of weather, I will do anything to have fun kind of a girl. And I love that. And I was hoping you could share the story today about you and your brother going to school. Remember you shared that with me, and crossing the lake?
Oh my gosh, yes. I can't believe you remember.
I love that.
Well, we were fortunate enough to we lived on Lake Muskoka growing up, and where you could take the road home if you wanted to, but we had about a kilometer walk from our bus to our house. But you could go to one of the beaches and you could swim across the bay to get home. And so we did that sometimes, and we would leave our backpack in the bush for our mom to pick up, and then we would swim to our dog.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a dream for those of us who've grown up in the GTA. That was when you told me that story, I was like, oh, I love that so much.
Really, really loved it. It was, like I said, I feel really fortunate sort of being, knowing now how hard my parents worked for what we had and the opportunities. But yeah, it was a great spot. And so we were always out, family time at home was always being out on the lake, boating and doing whatever, fishing or just swimming in winter or snowmobiling. So
that's great. And were your parents originally from the area as well, or did they make a life for themselves in Bracebridge, or in Muskoka, I should say?
They did. They weren't originally from here. My grandparents on my dad's side had a cottage here from the early 1900s, and so anyway, Dad eventually moved up in his teens, and then when he met Mom through another friend, they moved together and built and actually lived out on one of the islands out here.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah. So island life. So I think they had me. I was born in a hospital, but my first year we lived on an island and moved to mainland. So
yeah. That's
very
great.
Lakes.
Yeah. Your roots are there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's great. And now you and your husband have started your own family. I can't believe.
Oh my gosh.
2 little boys now.
2 boys. We've got a 2 and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's loud and it's busy, and they are crazy but cute. I think that's why they make them so cute, is so that you don't strangle them. But no, it's amazing. And when I always imagined that I'd have girls. I don't know, or a girl at least. Maybe it's the nature of what I do. But yeah, so I'm the lonely lady in the house around all crazy boys, but it's so much fun. They're just awesome.
That's wonderful. And it must be really great for them to see their mama, hard at work and running her own business. And I love that you include them a lot of times, like in your Instagram posts, and, they're
because
part of it.
Of course we're self-employed. There was no maternity leave or anything. So in both of their first year, they spent the first year in the store with me. So I think that is sort of the saving grace of having a lingerie store, is that people were, they were so kind and understanding that I had this little newborn baby with me. And so, it's kind of neat because we've had customers who have literally like watched them grow up, or, I have people coming in going, oh my gosh, last time you were here, you were pregnant. And so it's really neat.
That's great. And Lindsay, you're celebrating 10 years this year, correct?
Yeah. This coming spring will be 10 years.
Will be 10 years. Amazing.
Yeah.
That is so great.
It's really, really exciting. And of course, anytime anybody starts a business or, makes any change like that, it was nerve-wracking. I remember the day that we signed the lease for our original spot, and we signed it, and I broke into tears, and Kevin just looked at me. He's like, what is going on? I thought you were excited. And I said, I am. It's just, we're actually doing it. And, it's a big leap of faith, but it's really worked out. And I am so grateful to the community and beyond for the support over 10 years. It was just amazing. Started.
That's right. My gosh. Yeah. Oh no, I'm so happy for you, and I'm so proud of you, because I've watched you since you were a kid, like this evolution of Lindsay, and for those of us who have known you all these years, it's great to see where you're at now and how you've turned all your dreams into reality. And your store, when I walk into your store, you're so welcoming. You do feel like you're part of the Little Black Bow family, and you greet everybody with a smile, and you treat everyone so well. And one of the things that's always impressed me is how comfortable men are coming in. Like sometimes they're buying for their wives, and that's kind of awkward for a guy, and you're just like, hey, come on, let me show you this and this, and I know your wife and she'd love this, and it's
I think our goal is always just to make it easy for people. And I think even the word lingerie just has sort of this stigma to it, and can be overwhelming for people, or frustrating for others. And it should be easy, and it should be fun, and especially for the guys when we have our male shoppers. I just want them to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be a weird thing at all. And lots and lots of men shop for things for their wives, and I just always say, do your homework, go peeking through the drawers, find your sizes, and shop with confidence.
That's great. So Lindsay, why lingerie? Like, why was that important to you? Because before you had worked for a boutique down the road that sold men's and women's clothing, and then of course Big Sky, that they were mostly denim and that kind of thing. What was it that made you decide I want to specialize in lingerie?
I really have always loved it. And I told this story once to someone else, and I thought my mother's going to kill me. But growing up, it was never a weird, my dad shopped for things for mom, and she always had like beautiful things. And it was just really normal in our house. And so not that we were prancing around in bras and panties, we just made it an uncomfortable thing. And so I did. I loved it. And I would say the side of it that I really fell in love with was when I worked for the Gap. Again, lifetime ago. Back in the day when they had a Gap body, and it became more about fit and comfort than I'm going to say some of the other big box, just how it looks, and it's for your male counterpart, and sort of that over sexualized kind of Victoria's Secret Senza look. It really was for them, and so I fell in love with it through Gap and learning to do fitting. And of course, knowing what I know now, it was still pretty limited what they offered, but I felt like I saw this other side of it. And so when I came home, I would say it wasn't necessarily what I knew I was going to do, but there was an opportunity here for it. There was a small shop in a neighboring town, and they had closed. And so there was just nowhere to go and shop and get a basic bra except for Walmart. So I just wanted to be able to offer that experience for people in our area. And because it seemed that it was something reserved for larger city centers. So again, it was a bit of a leap of faith, but everybody needs a bra. So
yeah, everybody does. And speaking of that, I remember when La Senza and all these stores started, coming around here in Oakville, Burlington area. And I would think, oh, I need a padded bra. And I'd buy these padded bras from them. They never fit right. And now I only wear yours. And there's no padding. I'm happy with my boobs the way they look.
Yeah. I think that they're and I could start me up and, I could go on forever. But I think that we were just so used to seeing one or two styles of bras and figured that, the padded push-up was the only way to get the girls lifted. And when we do our fittings, we really take a look at breast shape and, what you're wanting to accomplish. So it's more than just knowing your size. It's really
for sure
fitting to your body, and whether it's something basic or dressy bras can be comfortable everyday basics as well. But it's just about finding that right fit for your body.
That's great. So Lindsay, this is a great segue to the pandemic, because when COVID hit, I can't even imagine, that was pretty hard. I know you had to shut your doors for a while. You were right on the beat with the curbside pickup and all of that thing, all the things you had to do to keep the business going and pay the bills and all that stuff. So were you able, because you're also so online savvy, were you able to assist customers online, with things like bra fittings and that sort of and was that something new for you? How did you work through the pandemic yourself?
It was a hard, before the pandemic actually happened, before the mandatory closures, it was, I think anybody who has a business, you're faced with that, doing the right thing versus, you've got bills that need to be paid, and, locking your doors and walking away is a hard decision to make. So we did stay open for, I think there was kind of a 2-week period before they had made the closures where they were saying, we recommend. And so we were really controlling things. We had the door locked, and it was by appointment, and then people could come in. But I have to say that it was almost a relief when the decision was made, because then, I had no choice. I had to, and then I knew I was doing the right thing for my staff, for our customers, and everything like that. But we weren't prepared to just lock the doors and walk away. So it was a learning curve, absolutely. And I thought I spent a lot of time on my phone before, and it was just nonstop. So we were doing virtual fittings, fittings my pictures. And so we were able to do curbside pickup here. And then we offered Muskoka wide delivery. So we just did what we could to keep things going. And it was amazing the amount of people that reached out, not just us, all my neighbors. The community really came out and said, how can we support? And I think that's been the greatest thing to watch during all of this, is that support for small business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now the BIA.
Yeah.
This is so great too. How long have you now been president there? It's been a while.
It has been. So I think I might be in my 6th year. They're 4-year terms, and I'm in the middle of my 2nd term.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I joined as a volunteer the BIA when I first opened the business, and then I was voted president. So it's good, and I have to say, like, we have an administrative coordinator who I really have to give a ton of credit to, because she does so much. There's times when I feel like I'm sitting back and she does so much work. I'm proud to do what I can for our community. And, and just right now, especially being connected with everybody and just trying to support in any way we can, just to make sure that these stores are still here when all of this hopefully sometime soon comes to an end.
Yeah, for sure. So how does it work with the BIA in Bracebridge? Because it's a smaller town, I'm just curious to know, even before COVID, like how your meetings sort of ran and that, because here our BIAs, they're so huge, you can get people from, all over coming in as guests. How is it different for you guys?
So for us, we've got our board, and so they're made up of town staff, myself. We've got a vice president and treasurer, and then the other members are our other store owners. We would have our monthly meetings, and we've got a list of responsibilities and what we're supposed to do to help downtown and promote downtown Bracebridge. We're a pretty tight-knit group, which is really nice. So when you talk about a larger city center where people are dropping in, it's usually we get a lot of, I'll say the same people, but it's great because we work so well together. And so when we've had to fill spots, we're usually, inviting someone who's got, a real forward way of thinking and lots of ideas, because anything else can be trained. But we love people who've got new ideas to help us out, because it's so easy, like anything, to kind of get stagnant. You need fresh eyes.
Definitely. So I know, Lindsay, in other years you've done all kinds of fun things outdoors, like street festivals, especially Santa's Village being in Bracebridge. There's always lots of fun stuff themed around that.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. No. I think our biggest one right now is, and it's gotten a lot of attention, is the Fire and Ice Festival that we have in the winter. And of course, this year we are looking to put a different spin, because we can't necessarily invite thousands of people to our downtown right now. But in the center of Bracebridge, we've got a great hill. So we bring in truckloads of snow and build a huge tube run through downtown. And so, it's a big winter festival. And so it's on, I think would have been the 5th year. So it's been fantastic, because, in the dead of winter, when things can be a little quiet up in Muskoka, we've managed to bring in between 10 and 15,000 people to our area. So, it's been great.
Wonderful. So, what else I'm really curious to know, because I don't know how this works. Do you have influence also over, like big chain stores coming in and sort of taking over where small business could really be thriving, or like even in your situation, like let's say La Senza wanted to come in and take over the old Zellers. That's a huge space, but like
my picket sign, but
yeah.
No, as far the way that our downtown is zoned, the one thing I don't think there's much threat for that happening in our area. And one, it's just even the space. Like, we don't have a lot of real estate for big development like that through our downtown. But yeah, if we thought that there was something coming that would truly be detrimental to downtown businesses, of course, we're there to fight for them. So one of them, and this wasn't so much to do with downtown, but even years ago when Home Depot came in, and we had our home hardware stores and some of the little ones. At the time, I know that council and BIA were all fighting for whatever's best for town. So I don't think that that's ever overlooked, especially from our the municipality and looking at the town of Bracebridge. They really have the town's best interests at heart. So
oh, that's great.
And we're sort of at a point right now with our organization, the BIA, our Chamber of Commerce, the town of Bracebridge. It's been a lot of years since it's been this way, but we're very close. We work well together, which is great. We all have sort of the same objectives. So, it's like rowing a boat. If we all want to get to this one spot, then let's row together. And we've realized that it's a lot easier to sort of pool resources and whatnot to make things happen than everybody fighting for their own benefit. So it's been really great. I feel fortunate for our community that the organizations work so well together.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, Lindsay. And you really get that sense. I mean, for anyone who's watching, if you haven't caught it, there was a time where I used to sell jewelry to Lindsay in her boutique, and we do like trunk show weekends and all kinds of, and the community of the downtown, it was always so wonderful, and everyone supporting each other. And I love that there were like little mom and pop shop, places to get a coffee. It wasn't like Tim Hortons right there. Not that there's anything wrong with Tim Hortons, but so nice to
sense of community. And these are people that are so passionate about their businesses, but also just the town. We all love this area. So we want to see it strive and
Oh, I think that's great. So, Lindsay, what have you got planned? Have you already made your plans for Christmas as far as what Little Black Bow is going to be doing?
So we've often done a lot of larger events, and so right now we're in the works figuring out how we can do sort of smaller events. One of my favorite things that we had done, we sort of called it, a Christmas preview, where we'd invite couples to come in, and the woman could try things on, and the man can sit and have a beer and then be able to see a few outfits, and then they could either purchase something that night, or he could come back with the list of what he liked. And so that was fun. We had done it for a few years, but I think that will be one of the things we'll bring back, because we can do that in smaller groups rather than the big blowout weekends. Because unfortunately the groups is something that any business is trying to work through right now. So just
for sure
sort of trying to think outside the box and come up with some new ideas. So
and you will.
I don't know how you're finding things. It's what I will say is a challenge is with companies being short on product. Never had an issue where, unfortunately, just manufacturing was paused. So there was a fair bit that we just aren't receiving. And we've been scrambling a little bit to keep the shelves stocked. But I don't think that our sector is the only one that's dealing with that. I don't know if you have any issues with any of your
Oh
items.
yeah, we are as well. It's almost, in some cases it's like they're selling through on once their overstock is done, then that's it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I promise there's lots of good stuff here and still good stuff coming, but.
Exactly. Yeah, everything's changing, and we'll we'll get through it. I was thinking this morning too, Lindsay, I always have I usually have the one of a kind show, which is not happening. Yes. And then, of course, a Christmas open house. And this year is my 20-year anniversary of Glam Jewels. So, I'm thinking about playing around with that number. Maybe I need to call you offline for a little brainstorm.
There we go.
Like
of each other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I kept thinking when we had our anniversary weekend this year, I thought, at least it's not next year during, our 10th. And gosh, now you just never know. And anyway.
Yeah.
Celebrating something big. My heart goes out to everyone, whether it's weddings, babies, anniversaries, all this sort of stuff. It's certainly a challenging time. But.
It is, but in some ways we get more creative, don't we? It's like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. No, it is. There was something at the tip of my tongue now that I just couldn't wait. Oh, I know what it was.
Yeah.
You are so fantastic on Instagram. Not only do you have a page for your business, you also have a personal page. And both of them, you just do such a great job. Where are you finding this time? Like, how are you doing this? And do you have a plan? Like, what would be your rock it out with Instagram advice to anyone with a small business?
Oh my gosh.
I just love watching.
I really love it just as a creative outlet. And, those times I've been doing work for too long, I think, okay, I can step away and do something that's kind of fun. So I don't think that this is going to be a surprise to anybody, but it can really be time consuming if, especially when you're using it for business and, you have to be posting on a regular basis. So batch work, trying to create content, when I'm in that creative space and then setting it up to either do automatically or I enjoy sitting down and doing it. So often it is actually me posting in real time. But I try to get a lot of the shots done in batch work because, oh my gosh, I could be on it all day. And, every time my phone is open, Kevin looks at me and goes, ugh, Instagram again? I'm like, no. Yes.
Yep, I got the same thing. I know. And you know what, Lindsay, I don't even know if you remember this, but you were the first person who I ever saw that did a selfie like no one I've ever seen before. I think your very first post of a selfie was like you with a beautiful mirror and we could just see your lips and you had like this beautiful, I think it was like a little pajama top on or something.
Oh my God.
And I knew I was going to see you in a couple of weeks and I was like, Lindsay, how did you do that? I want to know. And now I always think of you when I have to take a selfie. I'm like, maybe one day I'll be as good as her.
Oh my gosh. Well, it takes lots of shots, like anybody said, 20 shots to find the one good one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But it's fun. It really is. There's times when I can and that's where I find that doing batch work really helps because like anything, I feel like social media can also be a bit of a drain. And there's times where, it doesn't fill me up in a positive way. I can get really frustrated being on it. Or even if you're just having an emotional time and you don't feel like being that happy person, it is kind of nice when the work's done in there. And so, you don't want to spend a ton of time on it. You don't have to. But it's been fun. And I can't believe that the amount of business that we actually do through our Instagram is wild. So
great.
It's been a really good program for us.
Good. And one thing I'm not sure, are people able to order from you like online now, Lindsay, or do they contact you directly, like a DM?
They contact us. We
Yeah.
did do online years and years ago, and we just found it wasn't necessarily effective. And because so much of what we do is about our fitting process, you know, right now we're just still sort of feeling like we'd like to be able to have that hands-on experience and coming into the store, or whether we're having a conversation, even if it is through FaceTime or something, doing a virtual fitting. That seems to work really well. Just because
it makes sense because it's so personalized, right?
Yeah. And as I said earlier, I think bra fitting or finding a bra for people can be an extremely frustrating experience, especially when you're doing it on your own. If something doesn't fit and you don't know why, I don't think that there's anything more infuriating. Is it the size? Is it the style? And so that's what I always say. That's what we're here for. You know, we know our bras inside and out. We know boobs. So we can take that out, or that frustration out of shopping for people. So when we have our fitting appointments, they only take a couple minutes because, you know, you're not having to try on a million styles that we know aren't going to work for you. So,
yeah. That's great. You're really empowering women. For sure.
I think so. And I think that our message is always that lingerie, whatever that word means to you, is for you first and foremost. It should make whatever you're wearing, it's something that you wear every single day. It should make you feel good and it should be comfortable. So I think that sort of taking that sexualization out of it, and saying, no, it's for you first and foremost. And if your partner, your husband, your wife, whoever gets to see it, then, well, lucky them. But
yeah. Oh, that's so great, Lindsay. I love it. That's awesome. So any advice for a small business now that you're an experienced, got all this?
Be willing to adapt. Be adaptable.
Yeah.
I think it's your customer base. And I think a lot of our, not to toot my own horn, but we have people coming back.
Please do toot your own horn. We want you to.
Yeah, but I think that I'm passionate about what I do when that comes through. And I think that's what keeps people coming back. And so even with my staff, I just try to hire like-minded people that I know truly care. And I've had a number of people who worked for me before. And the one thing that's surprising about this industry is that it is a little different than being in, a clothing store. It can be a very emotional experience for people. And we've had some staff that have said it's too heavy. And because you're dealing with insecurities all day long, it's a very intimate business. And so, you sort of have to take on that side. I always say I'm like cheap therapy. People talk about everything and anything. And so you just have to be open to that. So,
and does that, so Lindsay, from your point of view, because this is your passion, and does that part of it, like I would imagine that part would really light you up, like maybe to the point where, having gone into this business, you didn't expect women to be quite so candid and vulnerable with you?
Yeah, I don't think I didn't expect that when I started. And it's really like anything, work is still work. And there's days where it is still a job and, you're waiting for 5 o'clock because you just kind of want to go home. But for the most part, when you have those really incredible connections with people and you can fundamentally change how a woman feels about her body. I had a woman in a couple weeks ago, and she had gone through a mastectomy and just didn't view her body the way that she did before. And so when we showed her, it was a very emotional experience. And, we were both crying but it was, it's really empowering. And that really recharges my soul. And I love that connection. And I think that's what I love most about it is doing retail. I love people. I love talking to people. And when you're doing that, because you're getting to know someone pretty intimately, I've got great friends that I've met through the store, and women that I've seen over the years, and then helping their daughters, and then they're getting married, and you're sort of seeing people throughout their lifetime, all their milestones.
Yeah. And I think it's so great that you are the go-to girl for this. Like you're the woman who everybody can feel comfortable with and walk into your store. And I'm sure that people come to you from all over. Like, Bracebridge is a small town, but I have a feeling people are traveling far to come to you as opposed to, going to La Senza or whatever.
We've got a number of customers or guests who are cottagers in the area, and they save all their shopping until they're back at their cottages. And that, I feel like that speaks mountains to what we do when, in the city you've got a ton of opportunity, and, back to Bracebridge, that's really special.
Yeah. Well, you're just the best at it, Lindsay.
Oh, I don't know.
You are.
Fun. I get to play around with pretty things all day, so.
Yeah. Well, I know you do. You work so hard, and I just think you're incredible. You've got your family, you've got your business, you've got the BIA, and you're just that person who I think everyone loves and trusts so much, and we're lucky to have you, Lindsay.
You are just, you are such an inspiration, and I'm sure there's people who are watching this, and there is just like no one who stands for empowerment more than you. Like you are you're the real deal, girl. I love you, and I miss our visits. I get so excited to see you. And what you're doing, and even this, I think is absolutely brilliant.
So thank you. Thanks, Lindsay. I know we're gonna have to see each other soon. Some kind of physically distanced something.
I know. Physically distanced wine
yes, that would be good.
We will.
Now you're talking my language.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know, it's funny. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
We did. For a time that's supposed to be quiet, I still managed to have 2 turkey dinners, which was
good.
Fabulous. And so I'm wearing my stretchy pants today. You can't overindulge on a holiday weekend, when can you? So.
Yeah, exactly. We got to make time for that. That's good. And the fall colors are so beautiful up there. And
they're gorgeous this year. They're so beautiful. And it started early, so we didn't know if it would last, but it's, oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. Yeah.
Hey, I have to ask you, what weekend did you have your last swim? I want to see if I outdid you.
For a gal who grew up on the lake, I hate cold water. So my last swim, I think, it was still in August.
Was it?
No, anything below like 75 is, I might step in with my clothes, but I'm not, no thanks.
So I went in
Where did you go?
The second last weekend of September.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
I know, but I've got quite a few years on you, and I'm telling you, the best thing for hot flashes, like I think the lake actually steamed up as I jumped in.
You warmed it up.
Yeah. So when you get to that phase, you might want to jump with me.
Here, I'll think of you when I'm diving in, and then I'll curse you, and I'm like, why the hell am I doing this?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, Lindsay, this has been so much fun.
Oh,
I loved having you on.
I feel like we could sit here all day and talk to you. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I adore you. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun.
It's been amazing. So I'm going to invite you over to Instagram now for a little after party.
Okay.
And yeah, for sure. But thank you for all your time. This has been great. I'm so happy we got to see the shop in the background. And your beautiful face. I'm always happy to see your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for everyone who tuned in. And thank you again, Monica, so much. I feel really honored to have made the cut.
Of course. Come on. All right, my love. We'll see you over on Insta.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to Lindsay from Little Black Bow. What an incredible entrepreneur. You've got to follow her on Instagram. She is fantastic, and go visit her shop because you'll just feel so comfortable. And it's like she said, she really, really makes it easy. So thank you again also to our sponsor, Brenda Badome, for dressing me today in this amazing ruche top, which I am enjoying very much after my Thanksgiving indulgences. And please go to her website, brendabadome.com. Use the coupon code GETTOKNOWHER for 13% off of your order. And send me a photo of you in your Brenda Badome. I'd love to see what you chose from her site. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and we will catch you back here next week with another incredible woman on the Get to Know Her show. Bye for now.